Welcome back, viewers at home. Now, just to quote an article that says no one is spared. Caretakers in Gaza are also in need of care. Doctors, nurses, journalists, and humanitarians are hungry. This is according to UNRWA commissioner. And many are now fainting due to hunger, exhaustion while performing their duties, including reporting. And I am joined now by the advocate for human rights and social justice from Africa for Palestine, Alie Komape, who will be helping us, unpack this heartbreaking reality of the hunger death surge in Palestine, a crisis that often goes unnoticed or ignored by the international community. Alie Komape, assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah so much for joining us this evening.
Malaikum salam and thank you for having us.
Now, to begin our conversation, can you explain the key factors driving the recent surge in hunger related deaths in Palestine?
For years we've been saying that Israel systematically controls the air, the sea, and the land borders of Gaza borders in inverted commas. That there's no freedom for people in Gaza. Israel claims to have withdrawn from Gaza, and therefore Gaza is under self-rule and rule under Hamas. That is not true. They are an enclave, and Desmond Tutu said is the only open air prison in the world. Gaza is the most densely populated area in the world. 2 million people, while the number has significantly reduced since the genocide started, but you're looking at 2 million people in very small area living and trying to survive. So therefore, this phase of genocide by hunger, it's by design. It's not a mistake. It's not an aha moment. It's not a spare of the moment. It's well planned. It's well executed. Israel is refusing humanitarian aid to the Palestinian in Gaza through air, through sea, and through land. There's no way that Palestinian in Gaza can get food. There's no way that they can plant. It's um, every inch of Gaza is being bombed. Where do you plant crops? So people are dying in Gaza, especially children through starvation. This is well documented by Doctors Without Borders, among others, humanitarian workers in Gaza. It is terrible. It is heartbreaking to talk about it as we are now. It's terrible.
And when we look at the idea of, hunger and starvation being used in terms of, carrying out genocide, it's something that has been done historically. And it's very sad for a new generation to live in a time where we actually are seeing it happen and unravel on a daily. But with that being said, I want us to take a look at, the many efforts that are being carried out in terms of the humanitarian aid. And just looking in that article, the very same person from the UNRWA Commission went on to say, the distribution scheme is a sadistic death trap where snipers open fire randomly on crowds as if they are given license to kill. And with that, I want to ask, what structural or political actions can global actors take to truly complement humanitarian aid and truly alleviate hunger in Palestine?
I think this is a very reactive type of leading question to say. Palestinians have told us a long time what they want. Palestinians want an end to the occupation. They want an end to the apartheid. They want an end to the human rights violation. Palestinians have always said they don't want your charity as the world. They don't want it. They are well and are able to take care of themselves. In this particular situation, the global community does not need to necessarily start to um, look into their pockets for aid, humanitarian aid for Palestinians. Palestinians have long told you what to do. What they need to do is isolate the apartheid state of Israel here and now. We are watching live and in HD images and multimedia coming out of Gaza, seeing people die of starvation, kids, children who have done nothing to nobody, that are being killed systematically through famine. The global community, in this particular instance, must hurry up into isolating the apartheid state of Israel, through sanctions, through arms embargoes, through isolations and other means, just like they did to the apartheid regime of South Africa. Palestinians, of course, aid is important in this particular point. And I think one of the examples was a Chinese cargo that dropped aid from the air with the cargo planes. I think international actors must look into those particular kind of strategies of giving aid to Palestinians. What we've seen coming out is it really it breaks my heart to talk about it. People are starving. They go to a particular place to get food directed by the Israeli regime. When they get there, they are bombed. One of the latest events is the terrorist outfit known as the IDF bombed a food supply center and said it was an error. It was a coordinates error. People died. Starving children who were going to a food center to get food died because someone made an error. We think this is a nonsense story, this is a made up story. People are being targeted and killed at places where they want to get the little to eat to save themselves and their children. This is what we're dealing with. This is the moral bankruptcy of not only Israel, of the West, and indeed of the world.
You know, in pursuit of being more proactive and effective in that sense, how would you guide newcomers to become effective allies of Palestine? Or what grassroots or policy oriented activities would you encourage people to engage in to support Palestine?
Uh, we've long said that one of the basic things we can do to assist Palestinians is to keep the conversation going.
Mm,
We must encourage our government to continue in its efforts to hold Israel accountable at institutions like the International Court of Justice and other international organs like the International Criminal Court. And look, it sounds depressing, and it is
mm,
that it's been 2 years close that Palestinians are being killed. The genocide is continuing, and it seems there's no end in sight. It seems that the more effort we put in, is the more that Palestinians are killed. But I just want to say to our viewers at home and to those who are asking what can we do is keep the conversation going. Keep Palestine a conversation at dinner table, at the workplace. Let's keep put pressure on our government, and that's the little we can do. We cannot afford to feel helpless at this particular point.
mm,
Grassroots actions in the past have shown to yield great results for those who are oppressed. I mean, it worked for us. We must keep pressure and we must advise our counterparts elsewhere in the world to do the same. Those that are in the United States, they must refuse and say, not in our name. The government of the day cannot continue massacring Palestinians in our name. Those in the United Kingdom, those in France, and those in other places in the West. I just had the news that the government of Belgium arrested two IDF soldiers who are terrorists who are involved in war crimes, and they've arrested them at the music festival. This is what we want to see. And even that we are in South Africa, I mean, the world is now globally connected through social media and so on. We can tell our friends, our compatriots, our counterparts in the West that tell your governments that is enough is enough, not in our name. And Israel cannot be aided and abetted in killing Palestinians while we are watching and doing nothing. So those who want to do something, let's do that. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's encourage the global community and those that are way beyond our borders to do something about this. Let's try to um, uh, probably get deep to their morality. Let's speak to them. Let's see what they can do. This is what happened in apartheid in the 1976 when school kids in Soweto were mowed down. Those images that were taken from South Africa, people saw them and it spoke to their hearts, and action was made. We hope, and then let's just do as much and hope that we reach out to those that are well beyond our borders to force the hand of their governments to stop aiding and abetting Israel, and perhaps to assist in stopping the genocide.
Now, out of desperation and frustration, there are individuals who would, shout in out loud to say we're not doing enough, or we're not, angry enough. Do you second these sentiments?
Well, absolutely. I think we're getting accustomed to seeing Palestinians die. It's something. It's one of those things that happen day in and day out. We are definitely not angry enough. We're not outraged enough. Um, but I believe that South Africans are doing the best that they could. As much as we are not angry enough, as much as we're not outraged enough, I think our government is doing the best it can to stand with Palestinians. I mean, under immense pressure. I mean, the government of Donald Trump said one of the conditions for them not to impose tariffs is for us to withdraw the case or genocide case at the International Court of Justice. Our government is willing to risk its economic well-being on giving solidarity to the people of Palestine. So we're doing the best we could, and is it enough? Of course not. I think while Palestinians, as me and you speak right now, Palestinians are dying. As long as Palestinians are dying, nobody's doing enough. What would be enough is getting the genocide to stop. Besides that, nobody is doing anything enough, and I think we can always do more. We can find other ways and other means to stop the genocide, to stop Palestinians from getting killed. Are we doing enough? Absolutely not. Are we angry enough? Absolutely not. Are we outraged enough? Absolutely not. Are we doing the best we can? Definitely. We are doing the best we can. And I think we must encourage each other to do more rather than to sulk and to complain and to point fingers. Let's encourage each other to do more. Let's be creative in getting the word out and then in getting action done.
And on a personal note, I'd like to ask what personal experiences or beliefs sustain your hope for just a resolution amidst so much suffering that we are witnessing?
I'm South African, and for me, the experience of being South African is a very communal moral compass. I'm from a deep cultural and traditional background, and the saying in South Africa that of Ubuntu or Umuntu ngumuntu kabantu or Mutu ki mutu kabantu is deeply entrenched in my upbringing as a child and today as an adult, and it's because you are, because I am, because we are. South Africans are people that care deeply for each other, and they care deeply for others as well that they don't even know. I give an example all the time that if you were to ask a South African where's Palestine on the map, an average South African on the street might not tell you, and they might not know where Palestine is. They might not know what Palestinians even look like outside of Yasser Arafat, Leila Khalid, and others. But they will tell you that they are being oppressed, they need our help, and we must give it to them. And that is the essence of being a South African. As a South African, I know that where there's injustice, I must speak about it. Where there's oppression, I must give solidarity to the oppressed. And then for me, that's very, very personal.
And Alie Komape, as we close off our conversation tonight, I'd like to ask you in terms of any parting message or call to action you'd like to share with our viewers at home.
Uh, uh, let's keep the conversation going. Let's those who work in private business, let's put pressure on private business to not do business with Israel. If you work for a big corporation, do the same. Let's keep the conversation going. I think the little you do on your part means very nothing if you isolate it, but the little we do as a collective then does a lot. So let's keep Palestine in our conversation. Let's keep talking about Palestine to our neighbors, to our friends, to those in positions of influence, authority, and power. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's get angry. Let's get outraged. Let's cry. Let's be concerned. But never. We must never forget. We must never be passive.
I know I said that was my last question, but I think there's something that I would really like to ask in closing to say, looking at the current plight that is faced by Palestinians in terms of, the hunger death surge, to you, what does this, highlight on the ongoing genocide and the efforts of international community and the potential that the international community has in really bringing about change that is necessary for Palestine?
Look, like I said, it exposes the moral bankruptcy of not only the Israeli regime, but the world. For many times, we used to think that it was not the Israelis who are responsible for this or who are to be blamed for this, but the Israeli government under the Netanyahu regime and other regimes as well, the far rights of Ben Gvir. And but this is exposed that this is the doing of the Israeli society. This is the doing of the passive Arab states in and around Palestine. This is the West. This is the United States. This is the UK. There's no moral compass. I don't care what your ideology is, what the color of your skin is, how you see yourself in and around the global community or where you live or where you stay. Watching Palestinian children get bombed, trying to get food while they're starving. If that doesn't move you, I don't know what will, I don't know what can. So this for me, it exposes the moral bankruptcy, the evil that we had thought ended during the Holocaust in World War II. This is just terrible. This is bad. How can we look at those who are in positions of power and authority in the world and think that they have the best interests of other people at heart? They don't. Like I said, the recent developments are just depressing. Watching Palestinian kids being shot dead while trying to collect food. Nobody can make sense of it. That people like Donald Trump sitting in the United States, people like Stemmer in the UK, these are states that aid and abet Israel. Are they looking at this? Are they seeing this and are they cheering it on? It's it exposes like I said, the moral bankruptcy of the world. For me, it highlights exactly who people are under this uh, cloak of we're leaders and so on. It exposes exactly really who they are.
Alie Komape, Jazakallah so much for really having a very important yet uncomfortable conversation going and just keeping it going for us and really reminding us on the role that we need to continuously play and also just looking at how we really need to start looking beyond humanitarian aid, really looking in terms of ensuring that what we do by, demonstrating, protesting, keeping the conversation going, it could mean for, the international community or just to just awaken the death sense or the inhumaneness that really exists within some of these leaders. But Jazakallah so much for that insightful conversation.
Thank you very much.
Viewers at home, that was Alie Komape, who is the advocate for human rights and social justice from Africa for Palestine, sharing in his, insight in terms of the sad realities of what's currently happening in Palestine and how we need to continue, pushing in on the conversation and really praying and putting in efforts of ensuring that inshallah one day Palestine does see a ceasefire because, yeah, it's really sad to see and it's devastating to witness in these times. But for now, let's head over to a net break. We'll see you just after this.